How's it going, folks? Jeremy Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel and to another weekend MMO news drop. Let's get straight to it, beginning with The Elder Scrolls Online and the upcoming Q4 DLC Dragonhold. This week, ZeniMax posted previews on both the website and via livestream to show off what players can expect in Southern Elsewhere and Update 24 in general. Of what we know so far, the map will have 3 unique environment biomes, new delves, world bosses, quests, dragon hunts, and of course the story finale. Dragonhold also boasts more rewards than any previous DLC zone, which is good to hear, and they've tweaked plenty of things from the Elsewhere chapter that should make players happy. One example they shared on stream is the dragon hunt fights, and these new Southern Elsewhere dragons are a lot more dynamic rather than static, and they do come in more variations too. I won't go into any spoilery details here, so on a final note, the Dragonhold DLC will be on the PDS this coming Monday, September 16th. Now, aside from the DLC, Update 24 also comes with the first wave of performance improvements to things like the LFG, combat system, and memory management overhaul, which should improve crashes, combat responsiveness, and the speed of the group finder tool. Finally, for console players, Twitch drops are now available for you, so prepare to get free Ouroboros loot boxes for catching a livestream. This week's ArcheAge Unchained community livestream was short and isn't much to shout about, honestly, and more pressing questions that players have submitted through various platforms since the previous week were straight up ignored. Majority of this stream's short focus was on the Swift Blade, and to reiterate what was said, it will be a main class that players can play starting level 1. They went through all the skills thoroughly to hype you up if you're going to roll one on the 30th, and it all ended with a brief overview about the naval combat arena, so let's hope for a more insightful stream next week as we get closer to launch. And now finally, something worth talking about from the wave of Kickstarter/crowdfunded MMORPGs that rode the hype train a few years ago, but hasn't shown much to date, and one of them is Chronicles of Elyria, who last week showed off 10 minutes of pre-alpha gameplay on YouTube, which is good because it shows that there is progress. Unfortunately, the wider audience not involved in backing the game or following the project isn't all that impressed. The blowback is due to how underwhelming everything looks right now, but according to the studio, the low poly graphics are of course a work in progress as they further develop the code for pre-alpha and beyond, but not everybody understands that. Keeping in mind that this is a very early pre-alpha build, those of you who support and backed Elyria, any thoughts to share? Let's move on to a couple of anniversary updates, beginning with Aion. The game is celebrating its 10th year milestone, and the day-by-day events will be running for 4 weeks. The anniversary flea market is back, and this is a good opportunity to pick up some cakes that'll give you a 200% boost to XP for 6 hours. There's a dungeon challenge event too, where you can farm reward boxes from select bosses, which contain some pretty unique gear and loot. Plus, there's a new special 10th anniversary coin that's being added, earned through various methods, and it can be traded with the Boba robot for more rewards, including the ultimate Ereshkigal weapon and armor boxes. Congratulations on 10 years, Aion. Dungeons & Dragons Online is also in the news this week for an anniversary, but not the one you're thinking about. The game is officially celebrating 10 years of free-to-play, and the studio, alongside all the major news outlets I follow for MMOs, are hailing the game as one of the pioneers that really pushed the free-to-play model for MMORPGs through the door in the West. And a year later, Lord of the Rings Online, the studio's other game, also adopted the model, and then we started to see more games adapt free-to-play too. So to celebrate, there's a few anniversary packs in the DDO store, but a good number of freebies as well, like free Veteran Status 3 for a week, and a free adventure pack for all players which contains content that you otherwise would have to pay for, so snap it up on the 26th of September. Hey, in case you missed it, Blast Online officially shut down earlier in the week on September 9th, as they said they would do, and it's been a long-running saga for everybody involved. Blast NeoWiz Studio are now folded back into their parent company, NeoWiz in Korea, of course, and what they do with Bless Unleashed, the Xbox One game moving forward, remains to be seen. And from the thank you note on Steam, we may not have seen the last of them yet, as they did say this was a learning experience for future games as well. As of this weekend, Bless Online can still be found on the Steam store with the option to download, but the servers are dead, so there's no point in trying to get back in for one last look. Well, let's leave it at that and move on to the next piece. The Awakening update is now live on Star Trek Online for PC. Returning to the 25th century, players now have access to a free featured episode starring Anthony Rapp as Lieutenant Commander Paul Stamets. There's 5 new patrols, a new task force operation for 5 players, a new event UI, new starships, and a whole lot more. Plus, in the coming weeks, a new ship bundle will be on the Zen store, which includes the all-new USS Somerville, which is a collaboration piece with the official Star Trek comics. For console players, you'll need to wait until October 15th to get your hands on the update. For you DC Universe Online players, there's a brand new story episode out right now, Metal Part 1, which sees the Dark Knights invade the world. Players can expect new daily and weekly open world missions, a new solo and alert, as well as normal and elite versions of 2 new raids. To play the content, you must be level 30 and have a minimum combat rating of 264, and for a limited time, special event versions of all content in Metal Part 1 will be available to all players that are level 15 and above, so be sure to check the events tab on the duty menu to find out when they're on. The new story comes together with a few quality of life improvements, like the consolidation of currency, among other things. Does anyone remember the sci-fi MMORPG Fallen Earth? Well, if you do, here's some bad news. The game is shutting down. After over 10 years of existence, Little Orbit CEO Matt Scott has posted on the forums over a week ago that the servers will be going offline on October 2nd or thereabouts. The reason, according to him, is that the current player experience in the live servers are terrible due to bugs, server instabilities, and exploits, all of which explains the really low player count, and it doesn't make sense for them to continue supporting it. While it's sad, especially for those who believed that Fallen Earth was going to be the next Star Wars Galaxies over a decade ago, all is not lost for the IP, as Matt talked about a new version of the game earlier in 2019. But until we hear more, there's not much to get excited about. Now, in the mobile MMORPG world, Nexon in Korea has confirmed that it will be launching its newest MMORPG, Victory 4, or V4 for short, on September 27th. This past week, they held a big press event for the game where they showed off plenty of game systems and demos, and some key features include an inter-server system which lets players play on 5 different servers, huge open-world PvP, plus high-definition computer graphics built for the mobile experience. After watching that one press trailer that now has over 12 million views on YouTube, I'm finding it really hard to believe that what I witnessed will be the exact same experience, but it does look pretty impressive, I have to say. Pre-registrations are now open for the game, but they're probably going to be region blocked, so your best bet in the West is to grab the APK file after release and VPN it through something like BlueStacks. I'll leave the links down below. A couple of anime online RPGs to talk about next. Let's start with KurtzPel and the big update they just got. Players now have access to guilds, which allows you to create one with up to 50 members, and all of you can earn guild ability points by just being active, which can then be used for other in-game things. There's also a new crafting system and a 6-man PvE mission called Blazing Blades of Calamity. The second game is for the PlayStation 4 and its Caravan Stories, which has officially launched in North America this week. Launch day was not smooth as there were delays on Sony's side with, of all things, the PS Store and microtransactions, but there were plenty of bugs and other issues players had to contend with as well. Here we are on the weekend and things have sort of smoothened out, and I'm making my way slowly through it at the moment, and first impressions should be out soon. But for now, I can only say it's not what I expected. And last but not least, in the not-so-MMORPG section, let's get to the news from Dauntless, the monster hunting co-op action RPG from Phoenix Labs. The game will be officially launching out of early access on September 26th for its 1.0 update. Coming with that update is a new seasonal expansion called Aether Unbound, which brings a new weapon, the Aether Strikers, a new dire behemoth, the Tempest-born Stormclaw, and finally a new hunt pass to boot. There's plenty of new content coming to the game for 1.0, so head on over to the official website to get the full breakdown. And that's all I've got for this week, folks. If there's news for a game that you play which isn't covered here, let us know what's going on in the comments. So, what games are you playing this weekend? Let me know. Hit the like button for the love of MMOs, and feel free to subscribe to the channel and get notified on all my latest uploads. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching.